Hello, gracefully chosen community, and welcome to Fostered My Stories, the achievement-focused podcast for foster care, adoption, orphan, inclusive of underserved communities. I'm your host, Shalina Michelle Tate, and on today's cast-episode, I would like to introduce my June featured guest, Jasmine Farrior. Hello, Jasmine. How are you doing today?
Hi, Shalina. How are you? Doing
Good.
pretty good.
That's good. Me and Jasmine has known each other for a couple years now. I'm not gonna say how many years. I don't want to give our ages away. No worries. but but I'm super excited to have Jasmine here on Foster My Stories. Jasmine, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Before I get into the dynamics of the many hats that Jasmine wears, I would love Jasmine to tell you about her background growing up.
I was a military brat. My dad was in the Army, so we traveled a lot. We didn't live in any place no longer than like maybe 3, 4 years at a time. So I had to quickly learn how to adapt to new changes, surroundings. I had to learn how to get along with people and instantly make friends. And my life was constantly changing. So fast forward to adulthood, that's kind of the same momentum I try to follow. I'm always looking for the next thing, something more, something new to do. I never want to sit down in one place for too long. And when I do, only because God has led me to do so. I think everyone's childhood actually contributes, obviously, of course, to who they become as a person, as a human being. And so for me personally, I think everything that's ever happened to me has brought me to this very point in my life. So that's to sum that up.
Jasmine definitely has a dynamic upbringing, very strong personality that goes into the leader she is today. Okay, so you've moved around with your family, you saw basically almost the world. When did you start seeing your role as a leader at a young age where you had to make decisions on different things as you grew up? What was your thing?
Almost like the very beginning, I was told as a toddler that age that I was very like independent. I have a younger brother. He always wanted to sleep in my parents' bed. And I laugh about it because it's like I never wanted to do that. I hated it. I always wanted to be on my own. So as I got older, I noticed I was a leader being in school. I never followed the crowd. I never wanted to do what everybody else was doing. I think a lot of people experience this growing up. Some people get bullied, and so I was bullied a little bit because I was just like not willing to just go along with everybody else. Like you really had to convince me to do something. And so I just stayed in my own lane. It helped me out when I got to like high school level. It made me kind of popular in school because everybody started looking at me as this leader. They wanted to follow me, and I was like, okay, I'm just doing me. And so I began to accept that leadership role when I was in high school. You know, all my childhood, there was like little stuff I would get involved in, youth groups and stuff in the church and all of that. They would always pick me to be the leader or the person that would, lead the group or whatever. But it really stood out to me when I was in high school. I was the class secretary. I was very heavily involved. I was like on the step team. I did all these different activities. I played basketball. I did all different things. And every time I looked, like somebody was looking to me to carry that leadership role. And so I quickly learned, we had a leadership program in my high school. I went to high school in Hawaii, by the way. We had this leadership program there, and I was a part of it. And I remember this was crazy, like our advisor, she like quit in the middle of the school year, and we almost didn't have a graduation. And so run of that fell on us as students to try to figure out how we would graduate. And I remember like having to handle all this money and having to kind of be the voice for the other students. And it was just really crazy how all of that ended up. Like even though I was a class secretary, I had to really come together and make a graduation happen and make our senior year actually work. And I just remember like the principal coming to me and just thanking me and all of this. And they wanted me to speak at graduation, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I've always, I've always ran from stuff like that. Like I don't understand why everybody wants me to speak and talk and do all these things. I never understood it. But as I got older, I started to understand, okay, there's something about me that people see that I don't even see. Just everything about my life, I never really understood. Like I'm a leader, like, and so now in these recent years, I really just listen to God when he says, yeah, yes you are. And I just really tried to follow that.
Once again, as I've said probably like 500 times, I'm super excited for Jasmine to be here. I, I wanted her to be here on podcast because to me, she is definitely a leader and definitely an emerging powerhouse of a woman. And really, a lot of dynamic doors is opening for her. But I'm also excited because God, like she said, is just really, from my perspective, opening doors for her. Just saying briefly, a real situation. You was in school, you got teased. A lot of people don't like to talk about stuff like that. That's some real stuff. But it flipped where you are a leader, basically chosen really to lead different things. That's phenomenal in itself. You chose to step up to the plate when the counselor left. Take us from after you graduated, what were some things you wanted to get into, and taking your experience from school, what was some stuff you started to gravitate towards?
Well, after high school was over, I had these big plans. I wanted to basically go to a well-known university, and I just remember like, oh my gosh, I almost didn't make it. Teacher taking an AP class actually failed me, and I was always a very bright student, made good grades, and oh my gosh, I almost did not graduate. It was a devastating experience. I learned in that moment and realized that everyone is not for you. People really don't care. From that experience, God says, vengeance is mine. Parents went up to the school. Parents, they really nothing to be playing with, but they tried, and it was like they weren't trying to hear him. But God really stepped in, and I had to go in and take a freshman social studies class. Yeah, I was in there with a bunch of ninth graders. You know how that is in high school, and you're 12th grade. They're trying to work in 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm not trying to be in this class, but I did it. It humbled me to a point to realize, like, okay, because I was really popular in school at the time and all of that, but it humbled me to realize anything can happen to anybody. So I took that teaching and I carried it on into my college years. I ended up going to school a couple of years after I graduated. I was around 20 years old. I went through a very serious ordeal where I had an accident at home and I burned my right foot, and I still have the scars to this day. It was a very severe burn, and I ended up having to learn how to walk again. At those moments, I was very down at one of the lowest points in my life. I had to really rely on God, and God brought me all the way out of that to the point where if you see me walking, I'm in like 5-inch heels because people don't understand where I came from. Like I literally had to learn how to walk all over again. And so by the age of 20, I was going to the University of South Carolina. I was Aiken, majoring in business, went to business school. And I remember sitting in class and I was just like, oh my gosh, why am I here? College is not for everyone, not to discourage anybody that's going to school. I'll just be really real. They say that college is something you should do right after high school. However, that's not the only option. I will say that. And you have all the time that you need to go to college. Plus, if you wait a little bit later in your 20s to go, the funding is there more. You can actually come out of debt, because I feel like they get these 18-year-olds that are going to school and they put them in a lot of debt because really you're working, you graduate from college, and you're just paying off student loans, and that's really no way to live. So hopefully somebody takes that advice. I was working clothing store. I love fashion, so that was just my thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting there in class doodling fashion designs, and I was like, I just really want to do something more. I got sick somehow. I had Bell's palsy, which is actually facial paralysis. That happened to me in the middle of going to school. I lost a lot of class time. I remember being off, and the dean was saying, Jasmine, just please work with us and don't get discouraged. And I missed so much schooling. My professors didn't understand. I recovered from it, of course, but it diminished my confidence, and it just really destroyed a lot of work ethic in school. So it was very hard to come back and get my work done. Long story short, I ended up leaving school, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I got a plan. I'm going to pursue acting because I've always loved acting. Now, the story with that is I've always wanted to be in the TV. I just didn't know how to get in there. I remember I had a real gift for it when I was in elementary school. We had to do an oral book report. And I was in class, and the teacher called on me to do my report. And I got up there, and I acted it out. And she was like, where did you get that from? I did what I thought she wanted us to do. And she's like, no, that was amazing. And when she told me that, I realized, wait a minute, nobody else in class did that. So I carried that on. I was in church plays, and I mean, people would stand up and clap and give me like a standing ovation. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe, there's something there. Carried that on into my adulthood. I landed a background role on the show ER. I was living in Hawaii, so my friends just wanted to just get out of school. I just really wanted to be on TV. And it's like one of the first major things I did, and it was like amazing to me. And so when I left college, that's what I went on to do. I went full throttle at that. I ended up, headshots done, linked up with a friend of mine who knew a lot of people in the industry, a lot of different celebrities and different people like that. And I got a little sidetracked and lost focus. Now, advice to anyone out there, don't get sidetracked and lose your focus, okay? I was young, saved up money, I was smart and very good with my money, and I was like, hey, let's go to this party, let's hang out with this person this day. And so I started partying. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I started partying. I was in the club. I was like, man, whatever. I'm standing next to LeBron James, these celebrities. I was hanging out. I was living the life. I don't know who I thought I was. At the end of the day, I turned around and looked, and I was like 24 years old, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, where's my money? What am I doing? Like, I'm not even doing what I set out to do. So I had to quickly have a reality check. God beat me up in the way that he best knows how, by basically reminding you of who you are. And I had to come home. That's not what I wanted to do. I was 24 years old. I had a whole plan to be a millionaire by 25. We all have those dreams. Had to go to my parents. I was in debt. I was spending my own money. Still, and I was just like, hey, is it cool if I come home? And they were like, girl, what are you talking about? You can come home. That's whatever. So I remember coming home. I was like 24, 25. I just wanted to get closer to God. And here's where it all flipped and changed. Started going to church. Grew up in the church. We had to do that. That's a family standard. But I started getting really closer to God. Yeah, I was in church from Sunday to Sunday doing the different activities, going to Bible studies, joining the choir and all of that. I got closer to God, and I fasted for the first time. And I remember when I fasted, basically what fasting is, for those people that don't know, is you pray. For me, what it is like you give up something to focus and concentrate on God. But you got to include that prayer. Okay, so I chose to not eat for 3 days straight, just go on a total fast, what they call, and just drink water. A lot of people do it to get God's attention. That's why they think they're doing it. But to be honest, you already have God's attention. From, he lives within inside of you. But it gets your focus and your attention on God. So I was attentive to what God had to say. And the very first day of the fast, I remind you, I told you I was in debt, right? I had college student loans. I had money I had wasted by party like a rock star. And I thought I was a rock star. I'm just going to tell you. I had gotten sick and I had to go to the hospital and stuff. And I had some hospital bills. Now, y'all know how the hospital bills are. So I can't pay these hospital bills. And the first day of the fast, got a phone call. I had been admitted to the hospital. They told me I had cancer or something in my ovary. But of course I did. I'm going to backtrack a second. When I came home, I was not partying anymore, but I wasn't as close to God like I wanted to be. And I had gotten sick. And I didn't know why. All of it, one day I had just doubled over in the floor in so much pain, and they admitted me to the hospital. And I remember the church people came, the ministers, the pastors, because my mama went to church and she was crying about her baby. Told the pastor, like, look, my daughter's sick. And so they came. These people didn't know me like that, because I wasn't in church like that. I was somewhere partying. They didn't know me. They visited me. And they prayed over me, and I saw these people doing that, and I was like, wait a minute, what are these people doing that for? So just for those of you out there, there are good people, okay? What I've learned, God will touch people to help you when you need it. And he did that. And that turned on a light bulb in my heart and in my mind to let me know that love is very real. And so because of them doing that, I began to start going back to church. Now, going back to what I was saying with this fast, that first day of that fast, called me and told me my medical bills were paid. And I'm like, who's paying my money? So my medical bills were wiped out. I got another call. I had this whole debt I had got into. I had bought all this nice furniture. I had done all this stuff for this apartment I didn't really stay in. And all of that was canceled and paid. Okay, God, you're just showing out now. And so second day of the fast, listen to me, second day of the fast, God told me I got you a job, kind of showed me what I would be doing, and I'm like, I didn't even apply for no job. What you talking about? I literally didn't. I didn't apply for the job. I walked into a nail salon to get my eyebrows done with my mom. I didn't get my eyebrows done because I had no money like that, but this lady, actually the store manager of a clothing store, offered me a job, and I said, okay, cool, and I took it. So this is just how God moves and how God works. And then so I was like 25, and of course the acting bug is still there. It's always there for anybody out there as an actor. That acting bug is so serious. I went on to audition for this theater company. They were doing this play where I met Shalina Tate.
That's me.
I went in for this audition. I joined a theater company, met Shalina from day one. It was like I knew her forever. She did something so nice and humbling. I don't even think she realized the day she did it. I needed a ride home because, I didn't have a ride. She just said, yeah, okay, come on, I'll take you. I was like, what? You don't even know me. Said something to me like, man, I wish I could just, I was like, whoa, stop. I was like, you do not want to be like anybody else because you don't know that. Because a lot of the people in the theater company were just so amped and excited because they just liked the fact that I was full throttle at this point in my life pursuing acting at a major level. Like, I was like, I'm going to be on TV. A lot of actors, they have other side jobs. They have to pay bills. And I was just blessed enough to be able to live with my family and for them to help me out and for me to just really pursue this acting career. And from then on, we've just had this amazing friendship where it's like, it's been years and it's just really blessed me to be able to see her or you to really grow and develop. And everything you say you're going to do, you basically do that. And you don't find that in a lot of people. So hats off to you for even doing something like this, because people, they talk a lot, but Shalina, I'm going to tell you, she jumps in and she really does whatever she says she's going to do. And so that is a blessing to have somebody like that around.
Very humbled to hear that. Very humbled by everything she's saying. And yes, that's so true. She's so right. First day, didn't even know me, barely just met that theater company, and I was like, hey, you need a ride? It's dynamic because you can now look back as years really have passed, but we still have connected since that.
Girl was walked up in there eating a Subway sandwich with some onions, and I said, oh, who is eating this? What's that smell? Who is eating this?
Y'all gotta understand, I was hungry.
I was like, who is that smell? And she didn't care. Excuse me, y'all. She went over at her sandwich, worked in this theater company for a few years.
Yeah.
And I was amazed by, your acting techniques. You knew all the lines. You knew everybody's lines. Listen, we did several plays and performances and shows.
Oh, no.
And each one of them was like, I'm sorry, I'm going down memory lane just for a second, because I have to. It was an experience, to say the least. We learned a lot from that experience. To be honest, I grew as a person in those moments because the acting, for me, it solidified my gift and my talent. Because being a part of that wasn't always a positive thing all the time. We had a lot of ups and downs with that. So I learned to really stick out my neck for myself, if that makes sense. I learned to speak up for myself and say, hey, no, this is what I need, this is what I want. And because of that experience, I was able to go forward and, get involved with different commercials. And I did other plays and other indie films. I was a background extra in Hunger Games, the movie. And I worked on the set of Army Wives. That's a show, doesn't come on anymore, but a lot of you out there probably know about it. And so I've done several different things. I even fast forward down the line, several years after that, hitting those marks of success, I was able to actually open my own production company. And so God said, because I was really like taken back because I kept on trying to be the worker. I've always tried to be the worker, just make the check and just get the job. But God has always pulled me out of the situations, and He keeps showing me over and over, no, you're not the worker, which is nothing is wrong with that, but you are the leader. And so I got on a plane because I'm this type of person. If you tell me to do it, boom, snap, I'm on it. So I got on a plane. I flew to LA. I met with a major, I'm talking about major casting director. This person has casted Halle Berry and those big name celebrities. I could go on and on. Met this person, right? Took a workshop with him. Anybody in the acting community, if y'all know, y'all take those workshops. Those casting directors, they will cast you and stuff, right? So I'm sitting up there, Megan Good, and had just left for something like that. And I'm sitting there with this major casting director, and I'm showing her my talents and my gifts or whatever. She tells me, I love you, you're amazing. I'm thinking, yes, God, this is my break. This is what I came in for. And she said, but honey, I'm going to tell you, your face is not known. And so nowhere is going to want to hire and work with you because they can't sell you. They want somebody that's going to make them millions and no one knows who you are. And I said, but just give me a job and then we'll know who I am. I had to turn around. I was like, oh gosh, don't tell me I got to go home. But I got back on the plane and I went home and I'm like, what is this? Because I went out to make it big. Okay, okay. So I got on another plane and flew out to a major modeling agency because everybody always told me you could be a model.
Yes.
I wasn't really into modeling, but because acting was my thing. But I met with this major modeling agency, major modeling agency. Did the audition, and once again, oh, we love you, oh, you're great. Okay, but what's the catch?
Yeah.
Well, you have to move out here, but we really aren't looking for new people right now, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, what is this, God? What is this block that's there? Put it in my heart. I want to be on TV. I want to do these things. What is this block?
Yes.
You know, and so a lot of experiences like that. I can go on and on with many stories like that that's happened throughout my life. There's always been something blocking. But as of late, I realized it really wasn't a block. It was more so of a calling and the destiny, or whatever word you want to put in there, whatever word you like to use. It was who I was supposed to be and become and what was supposed to happen in my life, if that makes sense. You say you talk about leadership and being a leader. I'm the leader. I was never the person that was supposed to take that job. I was never the person that was supposed to sit in the back. Will always come to me and ask me for stuff because I'm the leader. And we all have callings on our lives, and we all have a purpose. We all have something that we're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And so for me, that is what it was. And so I was like, all these years, I'm like, okay, this acting bug is there. It's not going away. I'm an actress.
Yes.
What's up, God? That's how I talk to God. God is like, listen, you know, you have to write the films. You got to write the shows.
Yes.
You got to own the company. You got to start it. You got to build it.
Yes.
Okay, God, I'll do it. And that's how it goes.
Yes.
So I own a production company, and I made that move after a disappointment. I actually had got an acting job. That was a crazy. I got cast in this local production company, major where it was located. A lot of well-known people in the community.
Yes.
And I was all amped up, and I just got played. I'm like, wait a minute, I have a resume. We actually talk about this all the time. We talk about our resumes, like people play you, like, you got a resume. Anyway, so I remember dealing with that, and I remember, I'm like, what is this? Like, why are people treating me like this?
Yes.
God spoke to me and said, because that's not where you're supposed to be, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And right after that, I opened my production company. It's just one of the many things that God has helped me and shown me something to do. I'm always the person that has an issue with something. And so every time I have an issue with something, God sits me down and I research how to fix it.
Yes.
So I have Easier Productions, and I have clothing and shoe line I'm currently developing now. I also have hair care products that I'll be coming out with.
Yes.
So that's one of many things filming. And the biggest thing that's going on right now is the politics. I'm definitely a politician.
Yes.
I got into that several years ago because I'm the person that if I get an idea, I just got to go for it.
Yes.
And so I got this idea in my head. Okay, I'm going to run for what office am I running for? It was, a congressional seat,
Yes.
the U.S. House representative. And I remember I was too late to get put on the ballot. This was several years ago.
Yes.
And so I started to petition. Had everybody helping me go out and sign signatures. That was several years ago.
Yes.
And I started petitioning. I was just on it. And I was like, okay, God, we running for Congress. And I was meeting with people. And I remember I found out I was actually pregnant. And I was like, wait a minute, whoa. So unexpected. I had my first child. I had my daughter. And I decided to be mommy instead of doing all these different things. To be honest with you, it was one of the best decisions I made because I was able to be there for my children in a way that a lot of parents don't get the opportunity to do. And so I had my daughter, then I had my son shortly after, and then I had my last child, my baby. He came here unexpectedly with a heart defect.
Yes.
And so all of the things that I had planned to do, I had to put them on pause because I had to focus on saving his life and making sure that he was well. And so going through all of that really taught me that when God says he's going to do something, he's going to make sure it's done and finished. Okay, so everybody listening, you have to stop for a second. It seems like you have to give it up, or it seems like you can't do it right now. That's okay, because if that's something that you desire so heavily in your heart to have or to do or to pursue, keep doing it, no matter what comes in your way. So I've had to take a full-on just break from all of everything, focus on being mommy. So I'm mommy 24/7 to these three little individuals, and not always the easiest, but I'm there for them, and I'm just able to love on them, and
Yes.
they don't know. They're so innocent, so sweet, and
Yes.
by having them, I realize what kind of world we truly could live in.
Yes.
And so politics comes in very heavily now at this point, because I'm realizing that we as a people, we need a real change of heart.
Yes.
It's not just about a partisanship, or you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. It's not about you being a male or a female, or what I choose to believe about abortion laws or gay rights, or it's not about that. It's about the heart of the person. Talk about leadership, and when you talk about getting into these different roles and these positions, I have had to go through all of what I talked about to get to this point in life to understand that a leader truly is a person that serves. A leader is not a person that just takes charge and gets and sits up on some pedestal or sits up on some throne. A leader is a person that can understand where you're coming from, I'm coming from, and the person next to you is coming from. A leader is a person that can be on your level and to help you succeed and be successful in life, or to make that life you have better. And so there's so many things that I've seen, experienced, where I've come from. I mean, anybody listening out there, everything that's happened to you happened for a reason. Good, bad, indifferent, and ugly. Okay? It's happened for a reason. Use it. Use it as a fuel to start a fire. So they cannot deny who you are. It's good to have platforms like this. So let your voice be heard anytime you get a chance to speak it, and be encouraged. That's what something me and Shalina talk about a lot. We talk about being encouraged. So that is something that, I really wish on everyone. I'm long-winded. I can talk for a long time. And me and Shalina, we just talk, and I know she had some set questions, and I know I didn't stick to
all good, because listen, listeners, Jasmine, we've known each other for years, and we talk like this on a regular. So I'm laid back over here. I'm just listening, because everything she said, she's being modest though, but really since I've met her, that initial night I met her up until now, I just have seen really the path that she was been molded into. I mean, she's already been stepping into it, but the initial night that she spoke about, that we met, I was gleaming, because it was like, oh man, you're doing this, you're doing that. And at the time I didn't understand, okay, you see people and you have a perception, but you don't really understand yet, and especially for me at that time, I did not really understand yet all the things she went through to get to that one point that I met her at. And then I saw and grew on the journey with her as we continued to progress as friends. Everything she spoke about, no, all that was necessary to hear, because whether you're out here as an aspiring actor or wanting to go into politics, or maybe like Jasmine, you are a mother, a parent, whatever your thing is, she spoke on and spoke to every part of that. And so that's why I definitely wanted her to be on, because I felt like, and I feel like she definitely can relate to you in some form or fashion, and definitely the underserved community, because all of her testimonies, she's saying long with it, but I say it was a collection, a collection of testimonies, really to encourage you, the listeners, no matter if you are orphaned, adopted, fostered, and underserved. The point of everything she said has really been a testimony of, it doesn't matter what you've gone through, what you're going through, and where you came from. It's not too late for you. And then once again, on this platform, I'm very humbled to even just be accounted, to be able to help give you, the listeners, insight to voices that's real. Jasmine kept it real, and so that's why we've been friends all these years, is because she's always kept it real with me, even when I didn't want to hear it. But God has planted her as a positive friendship that I needed, to connect with. And so that has grown over the years. Jasmine is being dynamic for taking time out of her schedule to be here. I'm so honored to have her here. What she touched on is just the surface. It's many more things to come. She's being modest. She hasn't told you that she's a phenomenal author. She hasn't told you that, there's many more projects to come. Yes, Azir is one of the many platforms and foundations that God is birthing through her. And once again, here on Foster My Stories, like I've said before, we never push our beliefs on any of the listeners, but I am grateful when the guests just openly and freely accredit where they know their help has come from. And so I'm
Oh
grateful to
yes,
Jasmine.
yes.
Yes.
Listen, yes,
Yeah.
honey, yes. You gotta give it to
You,
God. I'm never saying that this is what you have to do, but this is what worked for me.
yes.
Okay, and when I didn't have anything or anyone,
Yes.
this is who came in and said, I'm going to take you out of this and I'm going to
Yes.
save you and I'm going to put you here.
Yes.
Okay, and so this is what has helped me, because there's a scripture that says, I will set you before kings
Yes.
and queens, and I'll put you before noblemen, and then I'll put you in the presence of basically greatness.
Yes.
So that is what has drove me throughout my life. And even for those that don't really follow God and do all
Yes.
of that, you got to just know that God is not what world says he is.
Yes.
God is a God of amazing and wonderful things. I'm crazy enough to believe that we all should be walking around here with billions of dollars, and we all should be living this amazing life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's just my beliefs, and hopefully something that I do, I get to leave my mark on, or so to speak, that actually happens. The context of everything I do, I really want to help people get to a point where they realize, like, okay, this happened to me, or
yes.
I've gone through this, but it doesn't have to stay that way.
Yes.
I've been a single mother for years, and just because, you're a single mother, or this man ain't treat you right, or do this
yes.
way, okay, let's pick ourselves up and let's work day by day,
yes.
and let's move forward and get what we need to get. Okay, you came from a broken home, your father and mother wasn't there. Okay, let's pick ourselves up, let's do the work, and let's move forward.
Yes.
Let's heal. Let's get past childhood traumas, and let's get past the things that broke us,
yes.
and let's try to move forward and heal so that we can be a better presence to other people in our lives. I mean, you were in foster care, your parents were on drugs and
yes.
or alcoholics or something like that. I've experienced some of that myself.
Yes.
You come out of that. Just because your parents did this doesn't mean you have to do it.
Exactly.
My family, a lot of people in my family, alcoholism was very strong and heavy.
Yes.
Something my family doesn't talk about a lot, but it was there. I realized, okay, I cannot carry that curse.
Yes.
I cannot push that curse forward into my children's lives. So I stopped drinking, period. When you see me, I'll go out with you, I'll hang out with you,
yes.
but I'm not drinking.
Yes.
Because I'm not doing that, and so that's just me. And so sometimes you might have to let go of some things. You might have to sacrifice some time. You
yes.
might have to sit up at 4 a.m. while everybody else is asleep,
yes.
strategizing, organizing, and planning.
Yes.
You might have to give up those Friday nights and Saturday nights.
Yes.
You might have to give that up. You might have to walk away from certain situations.
Yes.
You might have to be isolated.
Yes.
Oh gosh, people don't like to be alone with themselves, but you might have to be isolated. Pandemic, I believe, has shown a lot of people that, come on now, the whole world was in the house at one point. Can
yes.
y'all believe that? This pandemic has shown people that you really need only one person,
yes.
or one being, or one thing, and that's God. And like I said, that's just what's worked for me.
Yes.
Okay, and so sometimes we gotta be set aside. We gotta do something different. We got to start thinking differently. We got to act differently. And we got to let all the voices that are in our head or on our sides talking,
yes.
we got to just tell them people to move on or to shut up. I mean, I'm serious. You don't know. Recently,
yes.
we have conversations about this all the time.
Yes.
Sometimes I just be needing to vent.
Yeah.
And it's like, people just really need to shut up.
Yes.
Because a person can really
yes.
stop you
yes.
and block you.
Yes.
And you just need to sometimes tell that person to shut up. I don't even know how else to say that. And sometimes it could be the person that is closest to you.
That's
and
so
I
true.
love this because
that is so
I
true.
have this I have this friend who taught me something when I was in the hospital battling those doctors. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother podcast. But I was in the hospital trying to save my son's life. I thought everybody else was too, but oh no, honey. It's about a paycheck, right? And so I'm up there, and I remember talking to her, and she just said, I tell them, no, it's not. She would always say, I rebuke that. We're not doing that. And she would say that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And basically what she was telling the doctors and the people, she was telling them no. And you can say no.
Yes.
That is okay, and that is cool. To tell people no. If somebody comes to you and tells you, this is what's going to happen, this is how we're going to do it, no, it's not. What you mean? No.
Yeah.
And Shalina, oh man, I I just
Yes.
need to get bold. And I'm like, yeah, you got to tell me no.
I can say it
You
now,
got to
but back then, whew.
Yeah, I've been there too. So I mean, I can't even front. Like I really, when I was younger, I was very quiet, very
Yes.
shy. And as I grew, I started to,
Say
my
yes.
parents.
No. No.
Started to get a little ratchet. And I started letting people know, like, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute, you know? And also, it's okay to be meek because you can, and I always social media, you can be meek and be quiet. That's fine. A lot of people, just aren't like that. They're not going to speak up. But at the same time,
Yes.
God will come in and He will help you out with that. He will fight your battles for you. So don't worry about all that. But that's just me. That's just who I am. Oh man, it just feels good to be able to sit down and to talk with friends like this on this level.
Yes.
I know, I know this is supposed to be like professional.
No, dude, this is you. Hey, we're having an open conversation here, and we want listeners basically to be as relaxed as we are. And definitely, if you're still listening, we're hoping, both me and Jasmine, definitely we're hoping that you've taken something that was said and held on to it, because we want you to feel like family. We never want you to come to the podcast and feel as if, oh, I can never approach that person, or that person's unapproachable. Anyone that comes on here, especially Jasmine, like if you see her out and about, very down to earth person, we'll keep it real with you, not afraid to stop everything. And hey, you need prayer, you want prayer, it just encourage you as led by God right where you are. And so really the whole lesson behind that is, listeners, that's what you want around you. You want people that's going to keep it real. You go in friendships that's going to be encouraging, not always tearing you down, not always telling you what you can't be or can't do. When I started to find that, or really God started to pair me with Jasmine, I started to be able to see, and be able to assess, not right away, not when we first met, but as when time went on, my eyes became more open, I became more aware. And stuff is lessons. So don't beat yourself up if you got involved, like Jasmine said, in the wrong friendships, the wrong relationships, the wrong or whatever. Jasmine accredits, and I am too, that we know where our help comes from. And it's a daily testimony, it's a daily effort. And all you have to do is take one step at a time. And so, Jasmine, man, you know how we go. We could go for another 3 hours.
What's the next question?
Yeah. What's the next question?
Did I answer any of them?
You answered all of them. You don't have everything. Don't have to be ABC cookie cutter here. We're free here. So no, actually, that's why I was just chilling, because Jasmine answered all the questions and some. She basically already outlined everything, and so I love her freeness. I love her boldness, and I know, she credits it comes from God. And Jasmine, because you definitely dynamically broke that stuff down about life, because that's really what it was. Took us on a journey, took us from your upbringing, your childhood, military, then going through school, and how that was for you, molded into leadership, the life lessons and stuff you went through that has led you into now business owner, mother, leader. You touched on all of that, and what I would like to ask now, so if you want a question. Yes, so Jasmine, you said some phenomenal things, and listeners, thank you for even just taking time out of your schedule, because our hopes is that you take something and grab onto it. Jasmine, for the listeners that just heard your testimonies, what advice would you like to give listeners?
Each one of us is on this earth for a reason. It's not a mistake that you're here. Yes. No matter how you got here, you're not a mistake.
That's right.
That's the first thing. So your life has a purpose. And so whatever it is that you have a strong desire to do, a strong desire to be, just go for it. Go for it. Do it. If you have 12 different things you want to pursue, find a way, pursue them all. There is a way to do everything.
Yes.
We live in a day and age where technology is amazing at this point. Information is vastly out there. So there's no excuse really for you not to achieve the things you want to achieve. There's no excuse for you not to do the things that you want to do. I've had to face many obstacles, so I know if anybody ever sits me down personally on a personal level, you wouldn't even believe some of the stuff that I've had to face and go through. So I know how it is. It can be very tough, but what you do is is you get up each day, like Shalina said, and you take that next step.
Yes.
And you continue to fight that battle every single day.
Yes.
And this is something I love when I hear people say this. If you got to do it scared, do it anyway. If you got to do it while you're crying
Yes.
and sad, do it anyway. If you got to do it alone, do it anyway.
Yes.
If you got to do it with no applause, do it
anyway.
Do it anyway. Do
Yes.
it anyway. Do it anyway. And that's something that I've had to learn. Like I said earlier, you had to take a break. You had to take a step back. Do it anyway. Whatever it is, just keep doing it and do it anyway, regardless of what the next person is doing.
Yes.
Or what the next person is saying. That can really hurt us also. Just do it anyway. If you've been hurt severely, just pick yourself up.
Yes.
And do it anyway. Because somebody somewhere is waiting on you.
Yes.
To become you. And that's all I'm going to say.
Please, some words of wisdom, and listeners, once again, as you know, I always say nothing to do with age. Definitely has nothing to do with upbringing, gender, location, race, ethnicity. Wisdom comes from God, the source of why we're even breathing. And so, once again, I'm so grateful to have Jasmine here on Foster My Stories. Jasmine, before no problem, no problem.
Look, I don't know if I'm wise. I got the gray hair.
She's been
silly. Looking good. That box.
She is so silly. Yes, I see. I embrace the gray hair. Just be like, honey, no, honey.
Like that gray hair, and it pops up out of nowhere.
You so silly.
I should tell people that, but hey, I don't like it. But yes, I really appreciate this. This was a lot of fun. I just hope that you continue to do this.
Thank
I
you.
told you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, listen, she said that briefly, but she straight up did tell me. And as a matter of fact, years ago, when I say years, that's with a capital Y and ends in an S. Years ago, let me admonish her for a second. No, you know what? Let me. No. Listen. See.
That's too long.
See.
That's a long time. I done told you.
No.
25. That's all I said.
Okay. See.
No more.
No. See. Let me admonish her for a second. She's being silly, but for real. Years ago, I'm gonna tell you about Jasmine. Years ago, even that initial night that I came in there with the smelly Subway sandwich, whatever. Years ago,
Subway, get some sponsors on here.
Subway's fresh. Okay, we're gonna change the name anyway. Years ago, God had pricked Jasmine's heart, or really touched her heart to say some stuff, and once again, she kept it real with me. At the time when I was looking for friendship and love in all the wrong places. And a lot of times when we are growing and don't yet understand really that we have a true value, and really God gives the knowledge, the divine knowledge to your worth that we all try to find in ourselves. A lot of times we try to fill a void, whether the void is a relationship, a friendship, and whatever we may find ourselves in, despite before we say, hey, there's a real God and he wants us to know we have a purpose, before we kind of understand that a lot of times we go through stuff. And also because he is a loving God, like Jasmine said, he'll line you up regardless. He will align you up just so you know that how much you're loved by him. Meaning, in a time where I was looking for love and acceptance and trying to find stability, God connected me with Jasmine. I just went to that theater company on a whim. I heard there was, I just had graduated from USC. I was looking for projects to get involved with. I was gravitating more towards projects I felt really had a message behind it, trying to find something that wouldn't make me look silly, or I think you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, meeting Jasmine, it was a blessing. The night one on through now, because we've had a real journey, and she's kept it real. We've been through some stuff, and God has used her to say, "Girl, walk away from that relationship. That dude crazy." When I say she has kept it real, when I say gifts and talents, That's another thing. Jasmine, what's the best way people can reach out to you if they ever want to talk? Because Jasmine also, again, she's being modest, dynamic because she has a lot of relationship advice. She's, once again, she's an author. So there's some content she'll be coming out with soon on top of her fashion, on top of her natural hair care and skincare products. So when I say guys moving in Jasmine and with Jasmine, she has a lot of phenomenal things in the works. How can people reach you, Jasmine? Like if they want to connect with you, if they want to network, if they want to sew into your journey. Listen, listeners, I'm about to do some promotion right now. If you've been touched by Jasmine, if you know, hearing her testimonies and you saying, hey, we need to hear somebody fresh, somebody that's like, you know, understands and gets us where we are, you know, consider contributing to her causes because she's a phenomenal emerging leader. She's here to really address real issues as a mother, as a leader, as a woman.
That's amazing to hear you say that. But yes, we reached currently J Farrior, the letter J. F is in Frank, ARRIOR, ACT@gmail.com. That's my personal email. That's a lot of my business stuff goes through there. So if anybody ever wants to contact me, talking, being, hey, like Shalina said, whatever it is that you want to contact me for, you can always find me there. Of course, you can find me on Facebook, my first and last name, Jasmine Farrior, my Facebook page. Yes, like Shalina says, I have several books and things in the works, and right now I'm developing a content page for relationship goals, and so that will be coming out soon. So if you want to contact me on a level of like relationship and advice and all that different stuff, you can also check me out on my Facebook page. Like I said, once again, it's my first and last name. I actually have a relationships goal page that's there. And so what I'm just looking at for that is we're just going to probably just do some different topics and talk about relationship goals and all leading to some promotional efforts of a book and going to come out in film way art. So yes, because I definitely believe we as people, we need to be ministered to in that area. I feel like in this current time, we've had a lot of fakeness, a lot of people that kind of just want to steal your money and take from you. We have all these people getting up here on these platforms, and they're really just taking your money, and that's just wrong. I know people get on social media, they see all of these relationship gurus, and they take all these advice, especially from these men. The relationship gurus that are men, a lot of times I've seen and noticed that they prey on single women, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with this? Something's wrong with that. So for me, I'm all about helping people, and that is why I've entitled everything I own basically with the name Easier. It's EZER. And that all of that is in the works, but basically that name means help in Hebrew. Okay, and so for me, if I see something is not right in some area, I want to come in and help fix that. So that's why I'm entitled everything I own with that name. And so, yeah, that's basically where you can find me at. That's my personal email and my Facebook page. And we have, like I said, we have the relationship goals coming and the different projects that I'm working on so that people can get fed real substance. You know, I'm just tired of it, you know, because I've gone through relationship problems and I've searched the internet for all of these fake guru people, and they have led me into some corners. And you know, I just got to go here for a second. We talk about this stuff all the time. I'm going to go here for a second, and then I'll leave it alone. Okay, I'm going here. Okay, you know, you in a relationship, you got your boo, you got your man or whatever, and you want to make sure y'all relationship work, and then you go listen to these crazy people on this internet, and they're telling you to do all of this stuff, and then you take that back to your man, and he's looking at you like you stupid. Like, you know, you can't be listening to
exactly everyone.
What everybody's telling you to do. And so I really just want I can't believe we even went there, but I really would just like for people to I just really want to be real.
Exactly.
Shalina said something that is really true. I try to be really honest with people because I heard somebody say something a while back. Once it's happened to you and you've gone through it and it's over and it's done and you've healed from it or whatever, it's no longer yours. So you gotta give it up. And I was like, what do they mean when they say that?
Yeah.
right? So don't hold on to that stuff that you've worked through. Sierra, we always talk about Sierra and Russell Wilson. Like, girl, what's that prayer you prayed? They want Sierra to give that prayer up. Sierra ain't giving that prayer up, but she should, and Russell Wilson should too. They should both come out and tell you what they did. But a lot of people aren't going to do that.
Exactly.
And so I'm the type of person that actually will tell you, okay, nah, this is what you need to say, or this is what you should do, or, this is what worked for me. So, that's just that's just how I am. I really want to see everyone succeed and everyone be successful
Yes.
and everyone be, full of joy and live life and enjoy it. We have to have down times. However, not supposed to stay in that place.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Words of wisdom.
Thank you. Calling me wise.
No problem, man. Once again, thank you. It's been a long time coming. I've been harassing Jasmine like for months to come on my podcast, but everything is no, but everything is an appointed time. So I really do appreciate this divine appointment.
Okay, listen, I got a lot of stuff going on. Don't be telling people. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm like Jasmine.
We're really not.
We cut up like this all the time, y'all. So just take it with love.
Yes, we really are like this.
Oh yes, we have fun, and but that's really you have to also find laughter even when you want to cry. You have to find the right relationships, whether they're friendships, whether they're I'm not gonna say boo things, but your boo, whatever. You gotta be in the right. In other words, you gotta be in the right relationship.
Take it a step further. And Shalita says you got to be in the right relationships.
Yes.
Sometimes you can't even control what another person does.
Yep, that's so true.
They always control you.
That's right. That's right.
You got to be in the right mindset and mind frame, and that's where I'm gonna leave that. But
that's another podcast. Tune in to Jasmine's next podcast on relationships and why you need to take a seat. We're cutting though. She's once again being modest, but I'm telling you, please, when you get a chance, reach out to Jasmine, like she said on her platforms. She got the Azir name. She's on Facebook, Jasmine Farrior. You can email her at that's J, and then Farrior, FARRIOR that's ACT, gmail.com. And reach out to her and just show her some love. Tell her you heard her on the Foster My Stories podcast. You really enjoyed her testimonies. And let her know what part of the testimony that you related to, if any, or that you just enjoyed what she was saying, because wealth of knowledge. And so once again, for the umpteenth time, I enjoyed her being here and taking time out of out of her schedule. Oh man, out of her schedule. But once again, nothing but love, and so we hope that you had just as much fun with us as we had fun, like cutting crazy with each other. We hope that you felt like at home and with your family, your extended family. All right, so if you would like to be a featured relative guest, that means you relate some way in form and fashion to the foster care, adoption, orphan, or underserved community, or you would like to be a community guest, that's a person who basically does stuff in the community like Jasmine is doing, or a special guest expert that can speak on, and Jasmine's an expert as well, can speak on any of those communities, whether it's foster, adoption, orphan, or underserved. Please inbox the Chosen Child 84 Facebook page, and you can make sure to catch updated Foster My Stories content Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via Red Circle, Spotify, Amazon Audible, Radio Public, and Google Podcast. And tune in next Wednesday to listen in onto the Relate to You content, where we cover highlights of relative authors, books, movies, or TV shows that can relate to your community, whether it's adoption, foster, orphan, or underserved. And remember, being fostered, adopted, orphan, or underserved simply means you're gracefully chosen. Thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule, and thank you so much, Jasmine, for being our
Thank
guest.
you.
You're
I
welcome.
had a lot of fun.
I had
Thank
fun
you.
too.
Thank
And
you. And I appreciate this and everything that you are doing for the foster community and
yeah,
just for this whole,
oh,
this whole platform is really great. So
well,
thank you to you. Thank you to everyone who took the time out to listen. I really enjoyed myself, and hopefully, I get to see each one of you at
yes,
some point in life on a very joyous and
yes.
successful level.
Yes, and no worries, no onions were hurt in the recording of this podcast.
Right. What? Listen, we need some sponsors. Subway, hit us up.
Yes, yes. There you go, Subway. Thanks. You have a good rest of your day. Take care.